I woke up to the sound of rain drumming on the windowsill. The room was dark, with only the neon lights from the street shining through the curtains, drawing strange patterns on the walls. Something was wrong. I didn't immediately realize what it was, but a feeling of unease tightened in my chest. I listened. Silence, even the noise of cars, which usually kept me awake, seemed to have dissolved into the night. I sat up on the bed and looked at my phone. 3:07. No messages, no calls. And then I heard it. Footsteps. Somewhere outside the bedroom door. Quiet, cautious. I frowned, trying to breathe as quietly as possible. Maybe it was just a play of imagination, overwork, stress. I hadn't slept much the last few days. But no, the footsteps were more distinct now. Someone was in my flat. I slowly crawled off the bed and fumbled for something heavy, an old torch that was lying by the bedside table. 100 scenarios ran through my head. Thief. Someone had the wrong door. I took a step towards the door, but it suddenly began to open slowly. Something dark flashed through the passage. And that's when I realized I wasn't alone that night. I frowned. There was something unnatural in the passage. A shadow, elongated, as if too tall for the doorway. I couldn't make out facial features, but I could feel someone's gaze on me. My hand clutched the torch, my fingers sweating. "Who's there?" My voice trembled. There was no answer. And then the shadow took a step. I switched on the torch sharply, and the beam of light crashed into the darkness. But there was no one there, just the open door to the corridor. My heart was pounding. I hadn't slept in days. My nerves were on edge. Maybe it was just a mind game. But then a chill ran down my spine. I heard breathing right next to me. I turned around, and the torch beam caught something out of the darkness. A face, pale, unnatural, with black hollows for eyes. It was right in front of me. I didn't scream I just didn't have time. Something cold grabbed my arm and yanked. Everything around me disappeared. Darkness. And then, I woke up. Still the same rain. Still the same darkness outside the window. But when I looked at my hand, there were marks. 5 and black prints. And then I heard footsteps. Again. Only now, they were coming from behind me. I didn't turn round. A chill ran down my spine. Goosebumps on my arms. My heart was pounding so loudly that I could hear nothing but its thudding beats. But the footsteps, they didn't stop. Closer. Closer. I clutched the torch. If this is a dream, it's too realistic. If that's something else, I can't just sit and wait. I took a leap forward, turning around as I went, and aimed the beam of light behind me. But there was no one there. Just an empty room. My things scattered on the floor as if someone had touched them. And suddenly, there was a whisper. Quiet, muffled, right behind my ear. "You're awake." I shrieked and jerked back. Almost falling, the torch slipped out of my hand and rolled across the floor, its light bouncing on the walls, picking out strange shadows. I gasped. The air smelled of something damp, rotting, and then I saw it. On the wall, right across from the bed, something began to show through, slowly, like drops of ink, spreading across the wallpaper. The words, "You're a Washington cat. Now we see you." My skin was covered in icy sweat. Something creaked. The door to the corridor began to close. On its own. No. I lunged for the exit, but something invisible grabbed my shoulder, squeezing it so tightly I had trouble breathing. And then, the lights went out. Total darkness. And before it was gone, I heard the last thing that made me realize this wasn't a dream. Laughter. The quiet, contented one. Right behind me. I woke up in pitch darkness. At first I thought I'd just passed out again, but then I realized something had changed. The air was heavy, sticky, damp and rotten. It wasn't a mattress beneath me, but something cold and rocky. I rose slowly, stretched my arm out into the void. A wall, rough. I tried to remember what had happened. Darkness, laughter, something grabbed me, and that was it. Where am I? I took a step forward. Something crunched under my feet. I lowered my hand and fumbled for a bone, a small bone, like a human finger. My breath hitched. My heart pounded in my ears. Then I heard a sound. Not footsteps. A whisper. Hundreds of voices whispering something from all directions at once. The words blended into one continuous stream. and I realized they were all saying the same thing. He's with us, he's with us, he's with us. I recoiled. Who are you? My voice echoed off the walls. The whispering was suddenly cut off. Silence. And then, someone sighed. Somewhere up ahead, in the darkness. I took a step back. But something behind me touched my neck. Cold, long fingers. And that's when I realized, I'm not alone here. I frowned. Cold fingers slid across my skin. They were too long, too thin. I wanted to scream, but my voice caught in my throat. The darkness around me seemed to grow denser. And then something began to move. In the distance, in the very depths of that black abyss, eyes opened. Hundreds of eyes. They didn't reflect the light, they absorbed it. Black holes in which there was nothing but emptiness. A step. The creature drew closer. I couldn't see it in its entirety, but its silhouette moved like a liquid, as if the darkness itself was taking shape. A step. I couldn't breathe anymore. You saw us, a voice whispered. I squeezed my eyes shut, hoping it would go away, but the voice came again. Closer. Me see you now. Something touched my chest. Cold, sticky. The world around me began to crumble. I felt myself being pulled down, as if the very ground beneath me was dissolving. I screamed, but no one could hear me. I was falling into the void, into eternal, endless darkness, and I never woke up again. The end.